All right, what's going on, everyone? Hope you are having a good day. Welcome back to the Predicting Alpha morning live stream here. Thought we would continue with our conversation from yesterday and take a look at some more short vol opportunities today. I've already found one that's piquing my interest, so I'll show you guys how I found it. We'll break it down, and today I actually have my Thinkorswim open here, so we'll be able to go in and actually take a look at a structure for this trade. Now, quick update from the trade that we looked at yesterday. We were looking at LLY. It's down about $1 right now. Basically no change in the share price. Looking really good. All right, let's take a look at what we would have put on yesterday. We come in here, we go to Analyze Trade. We don't have it there anymore. We put on a June 18th at the money here. Basically the Delta 50. And we just put on a straddle. All right, so here's what the straddle looks like today. It's trading for $13.25. If we use the think back feature here, we can come in, take a look at what else we got going on here. So let's, okay, we're looking at yesterday. Sell the straddle here. Yeah, okay, so no real change yet. A small change on my side, but basically about the same. Slowly trickling forward here. Robbie, what's going on, man? We are taking a look today at some short vol opportunities. So yesterday we took a look at one on LLY. It looks like it's doing pretty good right now. We're not really, the bet here is that realized vol will be less than the implied vol. We're not betting on the level, so I don't expect the level of implied vol to change at all here. I just expect the stock to move less than what the market is currently implying. And we went over a whole bunch of data points. You can look at yesterday's live to go over them. And today we're going to take a look at another stock. So basically what all I do, right? This is the thing. It's not like a super complicated process for building a short list of things to look at. Right? You start with some sort of idea, right? Things that I like to look for. I'm usually leaning short vol. So a lot of my scans, I'm looking for overpriced options. I will come in here, and usually it's one of two things. I'm either trading the level of implied vol, or I'm trading the realized versus the implied move. Right? Market thinks the stock's going to move 5% a day. I think it's going to move 3% a day. I'm seeing it move 3% a day. I can make a trade here maybe. Right? So it's one of those two things. And given the current vol landscape, where we're in a low vol environment, I'm not finding many trades where the level of implied vol is what I'm trading. It's mostly that implied versus realized. And that's why when you look at something like the vol cone, you see that everything's basically down here. But this is not a problem if the realized is even lower, which is what we are seeing for LLY, right? We're on LLY right now. If we pull up the chart, zoom in a little bit here, you can see that the implied has, the green line's the implied, the blue line's the realized. You can see this spread that's persisted over the last month. This is what we're trading. I'm basically saying I think this spread will continue to persist over the next 30 days. And I did a whole bunch of research on that yesterday, so we won't dive back into that for the sake of not being repetitive. But when I want to find an opportunity like that, I can come into the scanner here and see what comes up. So one thing that we could do is we could come over here and put on the short put or short vol filter. Now this is decent, but one of the factors that goes into this is an IV rank above 60. Now an IV rank above 60 is not something that we're going to see much of today, right? And that's because that low vol environment, right? That IV rank is calculated over a 1-year period. And everything's down by the minimum right now because over the last year we've had COVID vol. So it's not great. These would be good ones if I was looking to Vega gang it, where I'm trading that level of implied vol. But since I'm looking to trade the realized vol, let's not put on that filter. And instead, let's actually create our own. So right now we're looking at about 2,000 stocks. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to put in a price filter. I want to see price above $15. I want to see option volume above 4,000. What I'm doing here, right, is I'm just putting in the number, 3 dots after for the minimum, hitting enter, it adjusts it, and then tabbing over to the next one. And let's say a ratio of 1.2 IV versus forecast. So here's a list of stocks, right? We've gone from looking at 2,000 stocks to 9. Think about this, guys. Somebody's out there looking at Apple right now, trying to short vol on Apple. And here we are filtering 2,000 stocks by our criteria for what we want to find and getting better outputs simply by being able to work with technology. It's actually that straightforward a lot of the time. Ned, what's up, man? How's life? How are you doing? So, right, this is the benefit of having the scanner. Right off the bat, I'm able to come in here and make a list of things that meet a certain criteria, right? I'm looking for short vol. Why would I look at something just because it's a name I'm familiar with? It doesn't matter to me. Obviously, I want to get familiar before I put on the trade, but there's a world of potential out there. Computers help us find it. So BIIB, this is something we talked about on last night's live. I'm staying away from that for now. I want one of the guys in our group who's more knowledgeable about pharma to contribute on that one. Tico, if you're on the live, I'm talking to you, man. Or maybe even Mateen, I might ask him. So COP was next on the list. And I was just doing a quick scan here, right? So I was looking at what's the IV versus forecast, 1.48. That's huge. Right, we've got implied vol 30-day at 61. We've got realized vol down at 40. We've got a forecast at 41. And just to make sure that there's no earnings coming up, I take a look at what the non-event vol is here. And I can see the non-event vol here at 61, right? Non-event vol and implied vol for the 30 days are the same. Tells me there's no earnings event coming up or no big event being priced in by the market in this next 30-day period here. So, okay, this is one that looks pretty good to trade. Right? Off the bat, right? It's like it meets the initial scan. We don't need to, dig any deeper before, or it's worth digging deeper now is really what I mean. So we're going to take a look at 2 fronts here, right? I'm going to look at the data for it and try to understand what I'm seeing. Is this an opportunity to be selling vol? How should I structure my trade if it is something I'm interested in doing? What time frame should I be doing it on? But then I'm also going to dig deeper into why is the vol expensive here? It's one of the most important things, right? It's one of the reasons why I moved away from things like technical analysis and these more, typical things you would see in the market. It doesn't truly explain why. Right? It's got a story with it, but that story can't be validated. It can't be tested. We actually can't tell if we should be betting on these ideas or not. So we want to go a layer deeper, right? I want to look at the data. I want to see there is a spread. There is something going on here. And then I want to try to use information about the company, the industry, etc., to justify why that spread is there. Because if I can understand it, now I can make a better decision. Right? So let's minimize this scanner here. We can see that stocks not really moved too much today. All right, let's come over here. COP stock. All right, down 1% right now. And IV at 61. Forecast for the 30-day at 41. I'm using these numbers because when you're trading the realized volatility, you don't really want to go too far out in time. You can see there's actually this spike here on the 30-day, which is super interesting. So definitely something that I want to be looking into is why this spike is here. Okay. So I've pulled up a couple pages. We're going to take a look in a second at that. But first, let's keep digging a little deeper here. I'm not noticing any particular massive spike in share price or anything, so nothing drastic has happened in the last little bit. Taking a look at the IV versus RV over the last 30 days, we can see that we've been seeing that similar thing where IV has just outpaced the RV for most of the time over the last month, with small periods, like right here, where the RV creeped slightly above the IV. And in the last day, this is crazy, we're seeing a huge spike in the 30-day implied volatility. So something must have happened here, right? There must be some sort of news that came out, some sort of information about the company that is making vol spike like this. We can actually see here, this is kind of interesting. The market's actually pricing in that this thing's going to move pretty big. Right, the risk, remember, this is that frown that we were talking about. Looking at the skew graph here, right? So skew basically tells us, looking at the calls and the puts, right? We'll say puts are over here. This is at the money. This is out of the money puts. This is out of the money calls. Looking at this graph, right? What is the implied volatility across the strikes for the 10, 30, and 90-day options? That's what we're looking at. And we can see that the IV has gotten real wonky here, where at the money vol is higher than out of the money vol for the stock. This means, and the vols are higher where the risk is. So the market's actually saying the most risky thing right now, like where the risk is that this thing doesn't move. Now to be super clear, right? The vol here is at 61, right? And it's not like they're saying this thing's going to go to the moon or not. Remember, it's all relative to that level of implied vol, right? So we're seeing that, 61% level of implied vol. If we're going to get a big move of that nature, it's going to be, it could be up or down, and it's likely that we're going to see something. So we're going to have to dig into that. Now let's go over our skew analysis here, and let's see, is this something that's happened in the last day? Remember, we saw that spike in IV in the last day. Maybe this is a phenomena that just came about, right? So let's start looking at last week, Friday. Check this out. And let's actually go forward. Let's go to yesterday. Check this out. This change in the skew happened today. This just happened. So this represents a pretty good opportunity. There might be some irrationality going on here. Market's pricing in something, and if we can figure out what it is, and maybe if the market's being a little silly here, we could come in, sell at the money vol on COP, and make an absolute killing, right? It's very rare that we're going to see this type of spike. Something caused this. We need to dig into it, figure out what. Before we go any further, let's take a look at the option volume here. So if we zoom in on 1 month here, check this out. We can see that the usual volume is maybe a couple thousand, right? A couple spikes here and there, nothing to be concerned about, right? Like yesterday's volume was about 4,000. Today we've already seen 10,000 volume. So it looks like volume's up. More people are looking at this stock right now. If we go to StockTwits, I wonder what we'll see for message volume. Right, check this out. It's all sort of falling in line. We see message volume up 12% today. Very bullish sentiment. This is looking pretty interesting, guys. This is looking like a pretty interesting opportunity. Let's see here. So, with that being said, I think we have a pretty good idea of what's going on here. Vols are inflated. We need to figure out why. If we look at the skew here, right, nothing crazy going on with the skew, nothing to be concerned about. So let's see what we can find. It outperforms on a strong trading day. Any reasoning why? No, nothing here. So this was something interesting. This is an article that came out today. In historic votes, shareholders demand strong climate action from the U.S. oil and gas industry. At the oil majors' annual meetings, resolutions seeking emissions reductions emission reduction targets at ConocoPhillips and Phillips 66 were approved. Okay, so it looks like their shareholders are pushing them to take more like serious action about climate. Cool. On the May 11th meeting, 58% voted that called for Scope 3 emissions reduction targets, which would require the company to account for the end use of its fuels. They had recommended a no vote, citing the actions it's already taken. Interesting. So now they're going to be responsible for how the people they sell to are using it. That's kind of cool. So this could become a standard in the industry. Blah, blah, blah. So does this make sense why this is would this be so this is, it came out today, this news. So this could be something driving this fall. It falls very coincidentally timed with this spike. Let's see. The companies include systematically important emitters, accounting for 2/3 of the global emissions. Okay, so this could be it. This could be the news that's driving the vol that we're seeing. To sum it up, their own shareholders voted in favor of stronger climate reporting and concern from the company, and they actually wanted it to be tangible. And what they're looking at doing is making the company, some changes to its lobbying, and also to be more accountable for how the people it sells its products to are using it, rather than just being careful about how they do it themselves. Rob saying, okay, yeah. So another thing is, one of our members, Rob, was doing some research into that oil pipeline attack that happened, the hack, and he was basically saying that this spike in vol could also be related to that. So we'll chat with him in the group. I'll share my findings with him about this, because I think with those two together, I don't know if it makes sense for vols to be this high. Right? Let's really think about it. Do we have any information on next steps? All right, let's go to their investor information, maybe. Let's see here. Okay, not a lot of hype around the company actually right now. ConocoPhillips raises Sunday. Yeah, I don't know if this makes sense to me. I think it might be a decent sell, guys. Right? Looks like it was this new information that about accountability driving up vols a little bit. It makes sense because it could hurt their revenues, right? Because if you have to think about it like this, it's like they've now had to formally agree to be, take some responsibility for how people are using their product. They may need to stop working with certain people. It may change the nature of their relationships with distributors. It could get a little tricky for the company, especially if their shareholders have voted for it now. Right? You have to think about it, right? The company itself suggested a no vote, and that's probably from a return on investment for shareholders perspective, which means that a yes vote probably will lower that. So that could drive some vol for sure. But I think it's still a decent sell. Any questions about this, guys? If not, I'm just going to structure something out. Let's go take a look at COP here. The thing that I'm thinking is, since we're going to go with the 30 days and we see the skew like this, if we are to sell it, we want to be selling at the money here. Right, stock's trading at 57, so we'll probably do a little strangle like this. Oh shoot. Oops. What do you guys think? Something like this. Right? If we see vols come down a little bit here. Wait, let's actually check something. Did we get a spike in 90-day vols? Okay, no, nothing going on there. Just in the 30 days here. So let's say we get a drop down. Let's say we get like a 10-point drop in that. What would happen? We'd make a boatload of money. Or let's say time moves forward. Stock doesn't move. We should do pretty well as well. Well, actually, something I'm noticing here. Okay, no, we do have it at 67 here. All right, no. 39. Sorry about that. Hold up. 37. 35. Oh, we might be getting a little bit of bad data here, guys. The IV30, unless it's come down. There's no way. We maybe aren't seeing that big of a spike. What do you guys think? There might actually be something else because I'm seeing the implied vol is pretty flat across the chain here. So it might actually be another trade that we can look into later. Okay, we're gonna have to figure that out. The trade structure would be something like this though. I'm gonna have to just go double check the data on the back end, make sure that we're good. But assuming we are, this would be the trade. But if we're not, right, so I'm seeing here like it's not something that we'd put on currently. Because we wouldn't get a 10-point drop in vol here. Or this would strictly be a theta play. Yeah, so Rob's just pointing that out now too, actually. I'm gonna ask him to check the 30-day at the money IV on his broker. Okay. Well, guys, I'll post a little update about that in the group later on. But besides that, that's the trade that I was thinking about today. I thought it looked pretty cool. Just keep in mind what we did here, right? To find it, we came in here, we used the scanner. 15, ... Next one, I did 4,000 option volume. And then 1.2 is the ratio of IV versus forecast I put in. Lots of stocks popping up here. Right, TTWO, I believe that's also something we're looking at for earnings. VRTX, I know that's one that some of the guys in the group were talking about. I don't like to go near those pharma companies, and it's unfortunate that a lot of what we're seeing are pharma companies here, right? What if we lowered it to like, let's say 1.1? Now our list gets a lot bigger. We have lots and lots of stocks we can look at now. Yeah, a ton of stocks we can look at. Box, let's see. No. Let's see here. Coinbase. Oh, I don't know if I want to go near that. Let's see. Salesforce. It's trading at 35. Forecast is 30. 27. We want to make sure that we're not getting any earnings getting in the way here, right, guys? If we want to trade earnings, you know, we got to go to the earnings tab, have a view on the event as well. It can get messy. Cisco's trading at 28 vol, forecasting 23, non-event 21. All these earnings stocks. Let's see, Dell trading at 33, 28, 29. HP 37, 27. 30. Jesus. They just don't want to see us win, guys. They just don't want to see us win. What was this? This one kind of looked interesting. Non-event vol at 90, 80, 90. Social Capital, Hito Sophia Holdings. What? IPOE. What is this? What is IPOE, guys? It sounds a little memey. Would that be accurate? One second. Oops. SOFI. It's a SPAC. Okay. That's why it sounds familiar. So it probably got absolutely destroyed recently, right? Yeah, there we go. Beep. Not as bad as some of the other ones. So has this come out with an announcement yet? Oh, has it changed names already? I guess it hasn't changed yet. Oh, there's like no liquidity on this thing though, it looks like. Probably give it a miss. Let's see. Come in here, 15. Is it a good company? I don't know anything about them. Let's see. Sort the remaining ones. And SFIX. What's going on here? 97, 71, 68. No trade there. They let you buy IPOs? Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I've heard of this company. That's kind of cool. But are they priced fairly? That's the real question, my friend. There's our Eli Lilly popping up on the radar. Oh, interesting. SLV trading at 33 vol. Let's take a look at SLV. What's been going on here? This was a really big trade last year. I think it was trading a lot higher when we put it on, though. Yeah, look at that. Can you believe how high vols got back in like August of last year? This was just like absolutely nuts. We pretty much came in here and sold around the 41 mark and got out around the 30 mark. So yeah, I don't think I would be coming in selling vol here right now. We do have call skew on it though. Skews at basically the all-time lows here. So we could maybe do some sort of risk reversal here, right? These out of the monies are looking pretty pricey. Right, so we could actually come here and maybe sell these calls and hedge them. That might not be a bad idea. Right, SLV, selling the out of the money calls. I'm actually one of our guys, Clicker of Buttons, will really like this trade. I'll show him it. All right, you sell the out of the money calls, you hedge with shares, or you sell the out of the money calls, use it to finance some out of the money puts. And if we get some some reversion in the skew here, it should be looking pretty good, right? I'll show you what it could look like. Let's say we go back to end of March on the skew here. So we look at today's skew and we look at the skew as it was a month ago. All right, let's say maybe April 1st. You can see this skews a lot flatter. AG call fly. Well, what's AG again? First Majestic. Got it. Yeah, call fly might not be a bad idea either. All right, let's see what we can get for a call fly here. Right, SLV also has a lot of liquidity, which is maybe not a bad spot to do it, Let's make sure we got that call fly in the short term here, though. Right, we do. So let's see, maybe we come here, we go to the May. Let's go May 21st. It's nice that it's a monthly too. Should be more liquid. Let's say we do something like 26 to 29 to 31.5. Oh, 35, I guess. Right, something like that maybe. You risk $300, getting about a 1 to 8 risk reward, betting on this ETF trending up. This is probably not a bad idea. A little punt for the week. Or let's see if we go 26, maybe 26, 28, 29. No, we wouldn't do this one instead. Yeah, the other one looked better for sure. And then let's see if we go maybe a little bit, if we want to do something a little bit further out, right? Because we do have that skew over the next like 30 to 50 days even. We come out here to, let's say, the June 11th. We can go out of the money a bit here. All right, so we go 27. We can get something like this. Stock goes above 27.13. We're going to make some bank. And if it rallies hard, we don't have to wait until the end of time to get our payoff. So something like this might not be a bad idea either if you are bullish here. You know, little vertical spread a little bit further out in time, or if you want to go nearer in time, a 1-3-2 on the weekly looks pretty good too. I would say these would be the two trades that I'd be taking a look at today if I wanted to trade SLV. All right, guys. So with that being said, I'm probably going to wrap up the morning stream. That's a couple ideas. Rob, I was taking a look at COP. I've seen some funky numbers on the vols. We need to check it, but if those numbers, you know, if we price it with the right vol numbers, it might still be a decent trade. And then SLV is looking kind of cool as well, if you're bullish here. So guys, I'd love your feedback, by the way, in the group. If you find this style of live to be better, I'm more than happy to look for things outside of earnings, showcase how I use the scanner, the different features, look for different types of trades. More than happy to do all of that. I can start showing how to use the calculators, different tools within the tool, right? There's so much functionality here, so much versatility. I would be happy to show you the different ways. All right, everyone. With that being said, we're going to wrap up the stream. I hope you all have a good day. We'll talk to you in the group. See ya.